Hello and welcome to Etude number 7. This is part of the Villa-Lobos 12 and 12 challenge where we're walking through 12 of Villa-Lobos' etudes across 12 months. This etude is very important because it is one of two that you can really get the most out of and is a wonderful vehicle for practicing and challenging pretty much most of your technique, tremolo aside. I've already done a ton of videos on etude number 7 because of this reason. They'll start to pop up through the video. Most of them are about practicing speed and getting fast with your scale. So if you want some speed, check out the link that's going to pop up now. Otherwise, let's dive in. Okay, let's just walk through the main points quickly. The first 6 micro studies, which all have pretty much the same advice because it is the same idea that has just been moved across the fretboard through different harmony. First, the main goal in the beginning of this micro study is to be able to switch from scale patterns to chords. Now your wrist and your hand is going to change. Your right hand mechanism is going to change. So from when you're doing here to when you're into the chord shapes. You need to work on being able to drop your wrist down. That is the main technique, the main stumbling block, or the main area of concern in those first few micro studies. Second, bar chords. Pull back, don't squeeze. Pull back. Thumb is there for support. Thirdly, you're going to be doing a lot of very fast, short, slow work, so make sure that you know that pull-offs are pull-downs or pluck-downs and hammer-ons are light and fast. Fourthly, as usual, you're going to have to laser ahead with your hands in all of these. There are a lot of jumps in some of them. So make sure that your eyes are not on what your hand's doing, but where your hand is going to be moving next. Alrighty, welcome to micro study number 1. We're going to kick off straight away with the opening scale section. The fingering I use is 0-1-3, 3-1-0, 2-1, 4-2-1, 4-2-0, 4-2-1, and then we're into the first chord. And then my hand is down, it's pushing down with that thumb strike, and bar across the first fret, third finger on an F, second finger on an C sharp, fourth finger comes down on a D for a suspension, and then your fourth finger is going to stretch out 3-4, 1-2, and then we're at the end of that first micro study. So if I put that together nice and slowly, and again here with the shifts you are going to have to laser ahead, so make sure that you know that the first one is 7, 6, 7, and then into the 10th fret. Now regards which fingers to play for the scale, it doesn't matter. Pick the fingers that you are fastest and most comfortable with, and then when you are practicing it, pick the fingers that you are weakest with, so that you practice your weakest fingers but you play your fastest fingers. Or you can just ignore your weak fingers and just play and practice your fast finger. I don't necessarily subscribe to the point of view that you need to be able to practice every finger combination, because it's just not viable to do. I think you should practice your strengths and every now and then make sure that your weaknesses are not as weak as they could be. So anyway, that is the first section and the first micro study. Let's move on. Rightio, micro study 2 starts at the 10th fret on that high D note we've just left. Now the thing here is to make sure that your fingers, as soon as we get up here because of where we were, 1 and 3 go down in preparation for that wonderful slur there. So as soon as you hit the D, you got some vibrato on it. again, lasering ahead. This will require some practice. So just move it up and down the stringers a couple of times until you're comfortable. Make sure that that hammer-on is nice and clean and loud. Laser ahead, bar at the 2nd fret, P and A. Now these are all full chords. I'm using P, I, M and A to get that. 4th finger on an F sharp, 3rd finger on a C sharp. I'm now in a full F sharp minor chord shape. And then the last chord is 4, 3, 2 and 1. And as soon as I hit those first couple of notes, watch my 1st finger come up. So again, one of the main technical focuses of this piece, not just right hand, left hand, is being able to switch from chord shapes to scale shapes. And you need to be able to do it fluidly, and this is what this etude is designed to do. Alright, and in essence, with those 2 microstudies done, there is not much change between the rest of the material. So that's that chord shape. Let's move on to the scales. So the scales in the 2nd fret are 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 0. Shift to the right, 3, 1, 0, shift to the right again, 2, 1, because again I'm trying to get into the 3rd position for a bar, and that last note is going to be with the thumb. And again, watch my right hand mechanism as it moves up and down the fretboards, almost like a typewriter, moving quickly down to get into. Same chord shapes as previously. 3rd finger on a G, 2nd finger on a D sharp, suspension to E, 3rd and 4th fingers, laser ahead, stretch out, and then we're into the next microstudy. So let's have a look at that nice and slowly. Okay, here is the next microstudy, and we're kicking off straight away with the high E. And again, it's a repeat of what we've already seen. So as soon as you hit the high E, make sure your 3rd and 1st fingers go down. And then you're into the next bar. And again, it's just a E minor shape, shifted up to G sharp. And Villa-Lobos is selecting with the right hand, 2nd finger on the E, and then everything off. And again, watch my hands as we move into the scale section. So again, your job is to be able to shift from chord shapes to scales in the left hand, and from chord shapes to scales with the right hand, and coordinate the 2. Let's have a look at this nice and slowly. Right, at this point we're doing little scale fragments, no more than an octave, and it's starting on the high B, so it is 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 1, and onto an A sharp, which is unusual. This is quite a stretch. You've got a half bar at 4 and an A sharp on at 8, so you need to be able to just practice that. And again, go outside of it. Right hand's doing the selecting, and then again we're going to go back to that fragment. 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 1, A natural. And then again, the next big scale segment, hopefully you heard that. We've switched from A sharp to A natural. We're back into E major. And this is just nothing more than the E major C shape. And so here the fingering is 4-2-1, 4-2-1, 3-1, 4-3-1, 4-3-1, 4. Now I do not play the A with my second finger. I actually use an open string so that I can get into this position. Using a PI, and then we're into the next bit. Is just what you've been doing before, previous to it, except it has a pull off from above. Still this idea, except Villa-Lobos has just added an ornament. Beautiful second section. So if we have a look at this nice and slowly, this is actually a couple of microstudies combined, but that's fine because it's all kind of one idea. Starting on the high E. Thank you very much for staying until the end. I hope this was of value to you and you enjoyed it. There will be another video popping up just about now. If you're interested in any freebies for this challenge, please head over to classicalguitarrocks.com or follow the link below.